are these people?
What we're going to get to now is the most corrupt shit I've found all week. And we've always focused on exposing corruption here and amplifying the outlets that expose corruption. All right. Sludge. We've talked about Sludge before. Donald Shaw at Donnie.
Just in general, the toxic kind, like industrial waste.
All those guys. Sludge.com.
Radioactive sludge. We talked about the ooze, you know.
And the Oz.
They made the Ninja Turtles.
All right.
You know, you remember the ooze?
I do. Sludge,
no?
because I'm
Just
using...
Me?
Because I'm using...
What was that purple stuff in the Power Rangers movie? That's another form of sludge.
Okay.
I
thought that was slime. But Sludge is
I don't remember what it was.
Independent outlet that moved out of Substack over to Ghost. They went premium, I believe, recently. I actually am still a paid subscriber. They also recently switched to a daily update newsletter, which is really cool. Robbie Burns, we're going to get boats after midnight. Don't worry. We're going to be back with boats in a little bit. But I want to talk about this one because it's really important. And then I want to talk about about West Bank and pictures, and we'll skip the Indie Media Awards stuff for next week. Because it's going to take a bit. But this one, holy shit. Everybody know what this is right there? Anyone?
I think that's what you should be unburdened by what has been.
That is the Las Vegas Dome. An advertisement for Democratic presidential nominee Kamala Harris displayed on the Exosphere at Sphere, the first political campaign to do so on October 30th. Getty Images. Shout out to Getty for those. So, here are the top recipients of the campaign's $1 billion of spending. And everybody laughed about how literally this was Dr. Eva level shit. Robbie, yes, there was fish, but I didn't catch it on a boat. Coffee. But Robbie, there were fish. Coffee. It was just that it was on a boat. I ate it on land, and it was Alaskan king crab.
If any of you editors out there want a fun project, if you could just go back through all of the episodes of How Did We Miss That and catch when Indy his coffee, that would be great. And just compile that into a little supercut. Please and thank you.
There's only one person I would want to do that, and he's retired, sir. So I would allow it if Joe came back to do that. But after raising more than $1 billion and spending $20 million more than she raised, the Kamala Harris campaign is expected to end up with millions of dollars of debt once it's done paying vendor invoices. That reminds me of Brewster's Millions, Obama. Right? It reminds me of Brewster's Millions, where they have to spend everything that comes in automatically. $30 million in 30 days, or to get 300.
Similar to the producers. We have to have the worst play with Hitler, and then everyone will hate it.
The debt will likely be passed along to the DNC, unburdening the Harris campaign, and could now burden the party as it works to rebuild its catastrophic election season. No. President-elect Donald Trump, very rude, is already scoring political points over the Democrats' debt issues. Over the weekend, Trump wrote on Truth Social, quote, "Whatever we can do to help them during this difficult period, I would strongly recommend we as a party, and for the sake of desperately needed unity, do. We have a lot of money left over that our biggest asset
a lot of money.
Earned media, and that doesn't cost very much." He literally offered to settle their debt.
Doesn't cost very much.
Dude, what a fucking phenomenal troll. You've already heard about some of the Harris campaign's most outlandish splurges, like the $1 million paid to the media company of surrogate Oprah Winfrey, or running ads on the Las Vegas Sphere, as you saw above, or spending six figures to build a set for the Call Her Daddy podcast while declining to appear for free on the Joe Rogan podcast.
Not that there's anything wrong with that.
Uh-huh. Well, it was. They lost. But these expenditures are peanuts. Peanuts, not the other word.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace, may he.
Rest in the sky. May he forever have all the nuts he wants.
Compared to where the bulk of the $1 billion
Him and Harambe.
Compared to where the $1 billion plus in spending went. With the campaign's disproportionate dependence on paid media over the Trump campaign's earned media strategy of podcast appearances and organic social interest, I mean, people actually liking them. Democratic media consultants, the biggest parasites in the history of Earth, have been paid hundreds of millions of dollars by the Biden and Harris campaigns. Money that is enriching the firm's founders and partners through commissions. Again, I'm going to repeat that portion of the line. Democratic media consultants have been paid hundreds of millions of dollars to lose by the Biden and Harris campaigns. Money that is enriching the firm's founders and partners through commissions that will then be pumped back into the system to ensure that they get more shitty losing campaigns to manage in the future.
Because Putin's a madman.
That's what they're going to blame. These Democratic consulting firms, aka parasites, typically have their own revolving door ecosystem. They often are led by former Democratic Party officials or former staffers for Democratic elected officials who leverage their experience and connections to get a piece of the party's election cycle spending splurges. Another one.
Say that 5 times fast. Go back. Say it. Do it quick.
I want this to be a new Jesse song. Election cycle spending splurges.
Mm-hmm.
That sounds like a Jesse Jett album.
A piece of the party's election cycle spending splurges.
Election cycle spending.
Piece of the party's election cycle spending splurges.
Let's not.
Election cycle spending splurges.
We did shout out our friend Peanut. We can't leave out Fred. Shout out R.I.P. to Fred.
Rip Fred.
Media
up there with Harambe.
The number one. Are you ready for this? You ready to have your blood boil? Ready for this? Ready for this? You hear this? You hear about this? Again, shout out to Sludge.com, Donald Shaw for calling this. The Harris campaign's largest vendor was the creatively named Media Buying and Analytics LLC, a front company for the Canal Partners media firm. Who are the Canal Partners?
Okay.
So they're
just like some longshoremen in Jersey.
There's a link.
The Canal Partners.
And they're basically Canal Partners admitting that they own this Media Buying and Analytics. Formed in 2019, Media Buying and Analytics has overseen more than $280 million in ad production and placement spending for the last 3 election cycles. Not just the Harris campaign, but also the Biden campaign. But it sounds like in this election cycle, for the Harris campaign.
Is there.
So if that's correct, that means that that's since August. And that total is expected to increase once commission disclosures covering the final phase of the campaign are filed.
Let's go full throttle.
Hello, it's me, Joe.
It's me, Joe.
It's me, Joe.
Canal Partners Media's president is Bobby Kahn, a former chief of staff for Georgia Governor Roy Barnes and former chair of the Georgia Democratic Party. So he's another insider piece of shit, corrupt part of the system. Kahn, back in 1993, formed Luke Media, L-U-C Media, and his firm merged with Abar Hutton Media in 2013 to form Canal Partners. So he's been in media for a long time, left for a while, let someone else run it as his partner, went back to it. Abar Hutton Media was formed by Barbara Burr and Shelley Hutton, who remain with the firm as partner buyers. These are the people who run the firm. But Bobby Kahn left, leveraged his stuff, and now he's got access to creating stuff for the Democratic Party, and his firm was enriched to the point of $280 million worth of contracts. Now, what does that mean exactly? And I'm going to back up here for a second, because that doesn't mean that media buying and analytics got $280 million. It says that they oversaw it in ad production and placement spending. And this is where the right-wing hysterics are going to read that number and be like, they made tons of money as consultants. Consultants get 15% or 10% off the top. So they still got $28 million. But most of that money went into paying production people, paying creative people, paying for ad time, all right, and paying salaries. It didn't all go into the pockets of the people who are consulting the Democratic Party. I want to establish that right now. It's corrupt as fuck either way. It's corrupt.
Sure.
But most of that money did not go to the consultants. It was spread around by the consultants, which gives them a lot of cachet, power, and clout with the people they spread it around to, which is what's used to influence a lot more. How the hell do you think?
Yeah, it's a little extra spending money.
It's not a little extra spending money. It's the people who hired Chris Mowry.
A lot.
Chris Mowry, all right? And dumbasses like Victor Shee, and people and mouthpieces like JoJo from Jersey, and Brooklyn douchebag Defiant, and the Midas Touch dumbasses that are millionaires in themselves, but there's certainly enough money to go around from this organization to head their way to brainwash people about the Democratic Party and to TDS fearmonger people. All right. $280 million. That ability to spend that kind of money gives you power with the networks. It gives you power with the ad agencies yourselves that are, you have to outsource that volume of creation. It's spread around to them and all of their friends, and everybody got rich and everybody got a piece. What was that line about? George said it's a big club and you ain't in it. You and I are not in the big club. All right. In addition to its work for Democrats, and this is the best part, this is what I love Slate uncovering, and I like Slate. Sludge, not Slate. Sludge, sludge.com. Now, Sludge, honestly, can be a little on the liberal side and lean towards favoring Democrats occasionally and fear-mongering TDS, which is one of the reasons why they don't yet have a Indie Media Award honoree yet. They keep doing work like this, though, and exposing both sides. That's what truly independent is. It's calling out the real corruption on both sides. Got to look more into these guys.
Don't trust the liberals. They will betray you
every time. Right, but here's the funny part: that in its addition to work for Democrats, Canal Partners Bobby Kahn works for businesses and trade associations, including work that directly counters Democratic Party policy objectives. So they're playing both sides. What do you mean? Well, which may explain why it conducted its Harris work through a shell company. Well, that would look really bad if, for example, it came out that in 2022, it worked for a Pharmaceutical Research and Manufacturers of America Front Group, Rare Access Action Project, to help it run ads opposing the Biden administration's policy allowing Medicare to negotiate lower drug prices. But
why couldn't the Shell company just been Shell?
But they're working.
Would that have been too on the nose?
But they're still working for the administration. All right. To get them reelected so that they can then lobby them on the other half, on the other side that's paying them to raise drug prices. Okay, anyway. A review of nonprofit tax documents.
You okay?
It kind of broke me.
Your brain was steaming there, I think, a little bit.
All right.
You know?
All right, here. In 2017, it worked for Uber as the company was lobbying for permission to operate in Western New York State, a policy that was opposed by unions, naturally. Unions. A review of nonprofit tax documents show that Canal Partners Media has been working in recent years for charter school groups, Families for Excellent Schools, Inc., and Success Academy Charter Schools, the PBA of New York City, and the Pharmaceutical Industry Group Association for Accessible Medicines. So all of these other industry groups and lobbying organizations that are trying to petition the government, they can literally walk across the hall to the organization that's marketing on behalf of the government and go, hey, can you get my guys a meeting with your guys to be able to have this conversation and hash it out? That's corrupt as fuck. And that's what happens here. Now, here's Gambit Strategies. And a funny side note, this was actually a corrected typo. Initially, it did not say production, and I screen capped it and tweeted them out and called them out and be like, is that a typo? Because that's one of the funniest typos I can remember in a while. And I'll tell you what it said afterwards. The Washington, D.C. based digital firm Gambit Strategies was paid $122 million for media production and placement by the Harris and Biden campaigns as of the middle of October. What it originally said was media protection. And I just thought that that was funny because they were running a media protection racket for the campaign, running cover for a losing campaign. They didn't really do a very good job. They didn't really do a very good job of protection. Sorry, Don. Sorry. That was very funny.
Are you fucking kidding me?
No, hey, look, typos happen. That one happened to be a happy accident. All right. But here, another company that popped up from Parasites, founded in 2021, Gambit Strategies, specializes in digital persuasion and mobilization and doesn't work on fundraising.
Digital persuasion and mobilization.
Because they don't need to. Gambit partner Megan Klassen was a senior paid media advisor to President Biden's 2020 campaign. So she leveraged those people in order to keep herself employed and now be hired by the next campaign. According to her bio, she began her career in advertising, working with brands like Samsung and AT&T, and then joined in 2015 Hillary for America's digital advertising team.
Probably correct the record and
Priorities USA,
cats, right?
Priorities USA, that's right. A super PAC, a dark money out nonprofit, a charitable foundation. Gambit was paid $17
when does the
million.
NED show up in this story? Like,
I don't know if they're allowed to do that domestically with getting involved in our own elections. They can only meddle in foreign elections.
Okay.
Gambit was paid $17 million by Priorities USA during the 2022 midterm cycle before the super PAC was relegated to a minor role and replaced with Future Forward. And I believe that Golden Monarch has reported on Future Forward extensively. Go check out goldenmonarchnews.substack.com. Yep.
What is that, Unit 8200 is all over this too. I mean, this is just revolving door intelligence, back to private sector, back to intelligence. Like,
to advertising too. Well, back to advertising.
Like that, yes. Yeah. Private sector, all right, banks, Citigroup.
Again, another $100 million, another 9-figure organization, Bully Pulpit Interactive. Okay. Also run by former Obama strategists and for Biden's campaign in 2020. Multiple partners, including people you've never heard of, but are all awful people and likely when it comes to advertising and people that we don't like and that have been in
WEF global leaders.
Push narratives like crazy. All right. So in addition to the Harris campaign, here's another one with conflicts of interest. Bully Pulpit worked the cycle for several dark money groups in the Harris orbit, including Future Forward, USA, and Climate Power. But a review of Snapchat data shows that their political advertising this cycle focused on swing state users and targeted demographics like beauty mavens, clubbery and party people, reality TV fans, and battle combat and FPS gamers like Reef.
Yes.
All right.
This sports broadcast brought to you by Blackhawk 6.
That's right.
You know, like.
But here, like Canal Partners Media, Bully Pulpit has worked with business interests that are misaligned with some Democratic Party positions. That's a very kind way of saying a blatant conflict of interest. The company was paid almost $760,000 in 2018 by Partnership for America's Healthcare Future, a nonprofit formed to resist Democratic efforts to create a universal healthcare system, according to a collaborative report by the American Prospect and MapLight. Partnership for America's Healthcare Future, their members include the pharmaceutical company group Biotechnology Innovation Organization, that's Bio, hospital industry group, the AHA, and the Healthcare Leadership Council, which counts among its members Blue Cross Blue Shield, Pfizer, and United Health Group. Exactly who you want to talk to when you want to talk about advocating for universal health care, right, folks? Hilarious.
Perfect.
Hilarious.
Sounds perfect.
All right. No, not Center for American Progress. That's the American Prospect, J-Dub. That's David Dayen's outlet. But yeah, Center for American Progress. All these people are just awful. Yes, I agree. They probably do have links to CAP in some way, shape, or form. But here is the largest pro-Harris super PAC, Future Forward, paid more than $6.7 million. The media buying firm just one, Waterfront Strategies. Like I said, they spread this money around. An arm of DC-based media giant GMMB. And then they paid out another $2.9 million to BPI. Remember, BPI up here is Bully Pulpit Interactive. All right, it's all incestuous. They're paying each other for all kinds of stuff. All right, but this one is just really bad. Like, you're being paid by, now that was in 2018. That's a little, but still a nonprofit set up to advocate against universal health care. Why? Well, because it was a nonprofit set up by Blue Cross Blue Shield, Pfizer, and United Health Group, among others. All right. Oh, this was the other one I loved. A review of tax documents showed that Bully Pulpit has also worked for business interests like the U.S. Telecom Association and the Nuclear Energy Institute. I love that one. Shout out to Donald Shaw over at Slate. Oh, Sludge, not Slate. Fuck Slate. Sludge is much better.
English, motherfucker, do you speak it?
No.
In Springfield, they're eating the dogs.
No, that is not true.
He is a sick puppy.
Yes, that is true. Sometimes I can be. But, all right. We have gotten some new supporters, and we are eternally grateful for it.
Wow, incredible.
Yes. So we updated the slide. It's now called the Wall of Fame. We made some more room for more people to be able to be added to that wall because we were filling up pretty nice. Thank you so much for that. We are still a couple $100 away from paying off Zago for all of the illustrations, and that's going to be great when we do that.
Great success.
It has been a great success.